And he started to walk towards me, and I thought to myself, he's going to give me a slap in a minute. You know, the way how he was coming. So I braced myself for it, like, and as he lift his hand and he rests it on my shoulder, he says, Prime Minister of the colored people. Never mind the Indians, what's it they like, but if it wasn't for them with their property giving you a room to rent, we would have been in big trouble. We would have been in big trouble. I could remember me trying to play old mass. Take me mother coat and me frock, put on me, and tie me head and running about saying willy willa jab jab.
So, can you tell me what your name is? Who are you?
My name is Patrick Joseph, but they people normally call me Cousin Olwyn, and was and that's it.
So, where were you born?
I was born in Carriacou, Grenada,
Whereabouts in Carriacou were you born?
Mont Jaloux in Carriacou,
Yeah.
on the what do you call 80, 90 year ago.
Not that long then.
It is that long. Yeah, 80, 90 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've um, I've lived my life in Carriacou, grew up like a young man, go to school, and then after school grown up, go to learn a trade as a young man, but there was no job about. As a young man, you have to find somewhere else to go.
So, going back a bit, so tell me about your family. Who were your parents?
Yeah, well, my parents who were very good, people who always want to see you grow up in the best way.
What were their names?
Mr. Mays Joseph, who is my father, and my mother named Juanita, and I grew up in Monjalou, as I tell you. My father was a shipwright.
What's
Yeah,
that? A shipwright.
a shipwright is people that build boats. The boat that goes about like trading from Trinidad to Grenada to Guyana to Barbados, carrying cargoes and things like that. So my father who was the master shipwright on this type of ship, and then you know then after my brother come and take over, learn the trade and things like that, and my father begin to build a boat for himself. So he built one for himself, and he called it the Meslin. Meslin was lost in the Essequibo River in Guyana. I think is what year? I couldn't remember the year, but it's in the 1950s, and that really put him down. But he built himself up and built another one, and he called it the Sea Fortress. And that Sea Fortress has done him well until at the age of 85, he had a misfortune with the boat, and they lost the boat. They lost the boat. I think it's between some collision within some uh, other ship or something like that. And he lost the boat.
Mhm.
And then I call him. I call him at the age of 85. I says, "Come, come. come up here to meet me in England and have yourself a holiday. Rest yourself now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
you see.
Amazing.
So he came up to England, and we celebrate his 86th birthday here.
Wow.
Right? And as soon as he finished that, my brother from America,
Mm.
who was in the Vietnam War for America, he says you want to see him. You want to see him in America. So I say, well, time short. He's got to go back home.
Yeah.
So I got to get somebody now to go to the, and that person was Nixon Mackenzie
Mhm.
and Gustav David. These two guys pulled together right to the Home Office
Yeah.
to plead for them, and they generously agree because they says, well, okay, at 86, he got no chance again of traveling, so give us an extended 2 weeks so that he can fly to America
Oh.
to see his son in America. Yeah, so he fly to America.
Mhm.
I had to, well, more or less, I had to go down to the U.S. Embassy
Mhm.
for authorization, like, you know what I mean, what you call
Okay.
a visa for my father to go to America. And I went through the thing, speak to the lady there, and I tell her, so, well, I'm come to ask for a visa for my father to visit his son in America. And she said to me, no, no, I can't give you no visa. I can't give you no visa. She said to me, okay. And she talked to me, no, 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 there'll be no visa. So I thought to myself, so I said to her, you mean that my brother been fighting with in Vietnam for America for almost 20 years, and you coming to tell me so you can't give me a visa? And I turn away in anger, and I start to walk, go away. And then she speaks under a little thing, like, you know, and then she said, Mister, come here. What did you say? And I come and say, what did you say? I says, my brother fought in Vietnam for America, and he retired now and he's in America, and he wants to see his dad. If so, all that he wants now is a visa so that he could go and see him. She says to me, okay, I'm going to give you a visa, and your dad could stay in America as long as he wants. You know what I mean? So that was the story on that part.
Oh.
Yes, so on this on my father's side, like, you know. But
Okay. So can you tell me a bit more? What about your grandmother? What was her name and who was she?
well, my grandmother supposed to be the Fleury's family from Petit Carinage.
Yeah.
I don't know her. I heard that I was her favorite. And my big brother tell me, so don't you know Mama? I said, no. I'm afraid you cannot recollect. No, no recollection at all of my grandmother. But I know my grandfather very well, you know. So that's his that's about it. Like, you know, I don't recollect much of my grandmother. Although they tell me I should know her, but nah, I don't know. Yeah.
So tell me about what was life like in Carriacou when you were young?
Well, life, you see, when you don't know better, what you have is what you know, like, you know. So I think Things were good. None about nobody's. There is no starvation or anything, as you could people say, well, this and one thing. The reason why the people in Carriacou never starve is because they are almost very industrious. They plan for themselves. They don't depend on anybody for nothing. They have the garden working, fruit, and what they produce, they conserve it for eventualities. You know what I mean? They put it in special barrels and things like that. So when the time come, you're always eating. You always got something to turn back to until the season come again. You see what I mean? Yeah. Life on my side not bad. Fruit trees, galore, all types of food. You know,
And what was school like?
school.
Yeah, where did you go to school?
I went to school in Harveyvale Government School. There I went, and when I left school, uh, uh, well, uh, where I was living, they were reluctant to let you go to school when the season time come. You know, you had to stay there to get things, the plants, or to draw the crops. Can't go to school. I know that was on my part, and I could hear the other kids and them walking away. I'm going going to school, and I'm in the garden. I always been reluctant, and I fundamentally remember that. It grieves me up to now, right? You know that the other kids could go to school, and I can't go to school. But when it come to the tests in the school, I have to look after me cattle, so I look after me goat, sheep, everything. But while I'm doing that, I've got me books stuck in my pocket. You know what I mean? And I'll keep revising as the graze and thing. I keep revising whatever I know and things like that. These become my teacher subject, and I miss the subject. You understand me? And things goes like that. I could remember my teacher. They call her Teacher Jessie. And there was the test comes up, and all of them that went to the class, I came first in the class, missing two subjects, and I came first in the class. So the teacher says, where is Patrick Joseph? So he stand up. He says, at least you may not know precisely what it is, but what you want trying to explain, any fool can understand. You know what I mean? That was the commendation the teacher gave to me. And from that I carries it with me to this present day. That you could educate yourself, you know, while others playing games. Because that's what my position is there. You see? So school, I've never heard the word Africa mentioned, never. The only mention was there was a big picture in the back of the school there where the white man was in a pot, and the African people seems to be dancing around the pot. That is the only thing I know about Africa. Oh, while I was home, the word Africa simple means like the end of slavery, and you goes you know what those time. And as of that, I knows nothing concerning slavery or Africa
Right.
until the year 1957. While I was in England here, and a Mr. Sylvester come from home. That is your granddad.
Yes. Yes.
Your granddad. He came up here in England, and he came by us. Who I was living with Mr. Mackenzie, Edgar David, that is Gustav, them father. We were all in one room in West Bromwich, 236 Pond Lane, and all of them was at work, and I was doing the cooking
Ah.
because I had to, I had to work on at night, like you know.
So can you tell me about how old were you when you decided to come to England, or what were the circumstances of you coming to England?
Yeah, well, the circumstances of me coming to trying to come to England is because of work. At the age of 20, I haven't had a what you call a guaranteed job to say, well, okay, you've got a job, you get up in the morning, you go and you have a job that pays you. So the trend was, as all other young men in Carriacou, to go abroad.
What year was this?
That was in 1956, 19, and I was here in 1957
And you were, sorry, what age again?
at 20.
You were 20.
Yes,
Wow.
I was 20 when I came here, and then
How did you come here? Sorry, how did you?
yes, I came here on. I left Carriacou. Let me see, on the 5th of April 1957. I left to go to Grenada to catch the boat to come to England. I caught the boat on the 14th of April 1957 and arrived in England on the 28th of April 1957. And I went from there. Well, the boat went from Grenada to St. Lucia to Guadeloupe and Martinique, and then straight to Tenerife. We come out in Tenerife, and then from Tenerife, we go to Barcelona. From Barcelona, we go to Genoa. So Genoa was the what you call the port where you embark in Genoa, and then they put us in a hotel for the night. They put us in the hotel for a night, and in the morning we had to take the train. We take the train to France.
Oh.
We go to France. They drop us out. My goodness me, they drop us out in the cold. Cold, cold, cold. Oh my.
And you had no
I got
clothes.
no, just me. I never feel cold so man. And then you got to wait now. You got to take us now to the ferry. The ferry to transport us now into Dover or where it is, like and then catch a train now to come to Victoria Station.
So
From 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 Victoria Station, there was my cousin waiting for me. And we catch the train again from there up to West Bromwich.
So how long did that whole journey take?
Well, it's I left. We left Grenada on the 14th. Arrived in England on the 28th, the morning of the 28th of April. So it's a what is it? 14 days on traveling. You know what I mean. And after that, we came up here, and what the next thing is, we have to look for a room. But you know, in those days, you got no room. You got to go and stay with you. So I was staying with Mr. Mackenzie, staying with Edgar, David, then Big Syl. No, he know
My granddad.
your granddad. Yes. So when I came there, they know your granddad didn't come yet, more or less, like but it's after that day. So that's how we begin to stay. We end up having 8 of us in one room. Now, on your granddad case, your granddad came to meet, came and up to visit to stay back with us, because that is who we know. Mackenzie is his brother-in-law. So this, I heard the door knock. So I went to the door to find out, well, who it is. Everybody going to walk. I'm the only one in the house. So when I went to the door, like when I see this big man stand up there, he said, "Is a Mr. Mackenzie live here?" I say, "Yes." Well, he says, "I'm his brother-in-law." I said, "Well, okay, come in. Come in." You know what I mean? I says, "Come in." He come in. And then we begin to sit down and we begin to talk and talk and talk and talk. And the conversation bring us to that time. I think the Russian was just sent up the first Sputnik, and we begin to talk, and the talk start to go on a kind of a political angle, right? Me and have a clue what politics is about, right? Oh, you know what I mean. So I said to you, "Are you hungry?" He said, "Oh yes, I'm hungry." I said, "Well, I just cooked. Come on, have some food." So now I took get him to have some food and things like that, and we begin to chat. And then when I watch the time, I say, "Oh, but we have enough time to go and register you. You know, the time the registration office is not far from there." So I say, "Come on, we go and have him registered in the employment office. You know, and the man get a job there and then." No, they tell him, "So well, listen, there is a place here where you could go, and there is up in West Bromwich Square. They had a place where you used to have a cinema there, and another Imperial cinema over there. But it says you could go over there, and they will tell you about the job." And I went up there with him, and he got the job, and they says, "Well, you can start tomorrow. You can start tomorrow." Okay. So we get the job and we're going down now. And I say, "Well, listen, the doctor is over there. Might as well you go and register, register with the doctor straight away." So we went to the doctor, register him as a member. You know what I mean? And as we coming back, the market was just so on the side. The West Bromwich market was just on the side there. So I said, "I think you best go and get yourself a coat, because for the work." He said, "Oh, no, they tell me that they're going to provide me with the working material." So that was it. Within the day, he got a job. He's got his doctor booked and everything within one day.
Wow.
So we became best of friends, became best of mates. So everything like, talking about politics, he is the man that opened my eye on politics. And, Africa and it's the whole system that is going on. And I haven't got a clue in the world. And today, I am one of the first man you could ask. All my friends, I'm trying to influence them about the African issues and around the slave trade and getting a kind of a historical view of it. They're not, they're just not there with it, man.
So going back to what when you were eight of you living in one room. So how long were you in that situation for?
Well, we were in that situation there for about maybe about 2 3 months. Then them guys sent Mackenzie sent for his wife. Edgar sent for his wife. So as a result of that, they say, "Hey, Manuel, you have to get out." Yes. Well, Big Syl move now. Big Syl move and go in Sam's Lane somewhere around there, and well, Cousin Fidel had thing like me, Noel, me Lina is her husband, me, Noel, and me cousin, they call it Winston Sylvester. We went and we got a room for ourselves. Those time they like, never mind the Indians, what's it, they like, but if it wasn't for them with their property, giving you a room to rent, we would have been in big trouble. We would have been in big trouble.
So how did you organize when you were eight people in a room? How did you organize sleeping, cooking?
Yeah, well, we had something you call the pail. The pot wasn't a thing like it was a pail we, we used to cook in. You know what I mean? And oh well, for food we organize well because with me when I started work, uh, 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 I started work with my first pay was £3, £3, and the £3 is £1 for food, £1 for rent out of the £3, and I'm left with £1. 10 shilling goes. I save 10 shilling, and I have 10 shilling for me transport and any other thing. Those 10 shilling was money.
So £3
£3
a
money
week or a
a
month?
week. That is after they take out everything. They give me £3 in my paper pocket.
And you could live off that
Well,
without
I lived off it. I live off it. Yeah, I live off the £3 because the £3. Me and my there's three of us, and everybody put a pound for food. The shop is over there, and we bought everything there, and I could say, well, I've eaten a lot of pilchard and rice. But everybody, when they go, they make the shopping like, and things like that. Pilchard and rice. Oh dear.
Wow.
But anyway, as time goes, we I left the job. No, the job that I've got in Triponde. My cousin is in another job. Well, the job he was in is paying him £7 a week. And every time we come home, like, how much is this? Well, everybody exchange ideas. He said, I'll ask the gaffer for the job for you, man. That no good. So that's all right. Ask the gaffer for a job. And he says, all right, the gaffer said to come. I went. That is, they call the place PH Moons. PH Moons. I got the job there.
Can you tell me who are they? What did they do? What?
Oh yes, they do. You see all these pipes and thing. You run your water pipes and electric pipes and conduits. You know what I mean? They take a piece of copper about 1 foot and stretch it into 10 foot. You see the technique they have. They stretch the copper out, and that is how the job they do, like. So sometimes you see a bunch of copper all together. These are just for one piece of copper like that, and you just stretch it out and things like that. So I went and I got the job and I started work, and they put me to work with Bill. They put me work to Bill, so Bill start to work, like. Not said Bill start to ask me question, like, and things like that. What's your name? Tell him my name. We get friendly going on. And he asked me how old you are. That time now, I tell the gaffer that I was 21. I wasn't yet 21.
Yeah.
I'm on the road to 21, if you know what I mean. So I say, well, I'm 21. No. Yes, on the road to 21. So when Bill asked me, how's your name? I said, 20. Now, so now if you're 21, you're going to get same pay with him. You know what I mean? They selfish people, man. Go down the office. Well, I mean, that is after a few weeks, go down the office, tell the gaffer that he's not 20, he's not 21, he's 20. So, my goodness, one morning, this guy, no, the gaffer, how do you call him again? Ooh, I forgot his name, but he's supposed to be a Bible bashing preacher somewhere in you know what I mean? He's stuck scriptures and he's well involved in this kind of a situation. So that morning I saw him coming up with a young kid, like, you know what I mean? And he called me, yeah, hey, you come here. So I drop what I'm doing and I come to him. He got a broom in his left hand and he says, here you are. He hand me the broom and he tell the young chap, he says, you go over there. He go. So that means he take me off the job and give me a broom to go and sweep. All right. So I said to him, what are you doing? Are you taking my job and give it to him? He said to me, they are white people, son. That's what he says to me. He says, they're white people. So he was very forceful on me. So I turned to him and I said, because I knew what religious background he's got, because everybody's talking about it. So I said to him, the Lord is no respecter of person. And he watched me and he says, but you was a stranger and I took you in. You was a stranger and I took you in. And me, from the days gone by, I've always learned to know my scriptures and things like that. And he turned and he's walking away now. And I says, any man who put his hand on the plow and look at back is not worthy for the kingdom. And he stopped. He didn't turn back. He stopped for a while and then he turned back and he started to walk towards me. And I thought to myself, he's going to give me a slap in a minute. You know, the way how he was coming. So I braced myself for it, like, you know. And as he lift his hand and he rests it on my shoulder, he says, Prime Minister of the colored people. Prime Minister of the colored people. Where did you learn your script here? So from thence, he walk away and then he come back to me while I'm sweeping and he says, I'll try my best to keep you here. That time I've already resolved. I'm not taking this. By the time I went home and relate to you know, well, we had television, we had nothing, all of us, we together like, and we'd always start to talk about the situation. I've always resolved myself. I'm not staying in the job. So one of my other cousin, that is the one that married with me, Lina, Noel, he said to me, I'll ask for a job for you down there in HB Barnard on the Sedgley Road in Dudley Port. And he got the job for me there.
What kind of job was it?
It was a scrap factory, scrap metal, everything like, you know, electrical wire, and all scrap thing you could get. They put them together, make it into big bulk like that, you know, and recycle it in a foundry and make big metal and thing like that. That was that place. Uh, I end up. I got the job there. So
And what was that like at that job?
well, the the first thing I like about the job was the gaffer. Like, you know, he was an ex police sergeant and he comes to work there. And I think he had about 6 or 7 East Pakistani working there. But the standard of English was very limited, if you know what I mean. The standard of English was very limited. And I think he was that glad when I came that I could, you know what I mean? So he put me in charge of them straight away. And heaven knows how I communicate with them. Because the gaffer called me Pat, because my name is Patrick. He called me Pat. And when they say, well, sometimes anything, he say, go ask Pat for this one. So they call me Mr. Fat. Mr. Fat. That's, I really used to laugh, like, you know, because they want to say Pat, like, you know, but Mr. Fat, you know. So that there you are. I become the gaffer's hand horseman. Anything I gotta go and get it done. And I've been well liked. I must confess, like, you know, through him. So the watchman that was doing the job at night got sick. The gaffer comes to me and he says, Pat, I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to go home now and come back later because Jerry took in sick and goes to the hospital. So we need somebody to do the watchman job at night. So I don't know whether he says that anyway. I'll when you come, I'll get PC Cook, that is a policeman, to come and watch with you for the night because you have to come out from the factory and go around over there every end of it like with a big bag on your hand. You got to take the key out and push in something there. You know what I mean? To so that you can prove that you've been in the corner at certain time and certain time. So you can't say you is watchman and you sit down there. They'll know. They have thing all over the place there. So that's how it is. Oh, yeah. So
So when did you get married then? Did you meet your wife here?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. I met my wife, and I met me wife because myself and Mister Fortune called our very good mates. Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Not say mates, like but we always involved in scriptural discussion. You know what I mean. And I've always go and visit him and things like that. So this Saturday, I went to visit him, and she was there. She was there. So I was going in the fair, in West Bromwich Fair. They always have a fair in West Bromwich, and I've asked her if she would like it to come with me, and she said yes. And I will remember that date, the 26th of August. The 26th day of August. That was a Saturday. I remember that because that day meant a lot to me. So think like so we went like and as no as we were coming out, Mr. Calder come and he just we were standing there and he just I think he approved of me. You know what I mean. I think so because I could have see his action like that is his niece and he's all right. You know what I mean. He didn't tell me that, but I could. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's amazing. So can you tell me a bit about any kind of like folk tales? Getting back to Carriacou, what did you hear of any folk tales or like spiritual stories? Anansi or Lagraness? Did you
Oh,
hear of anything?
I've heard about all this kind of a thing, like but I never, I never really have much opinion on that, like because that has never been part of my, you know what I mean. I haven't had much experience on that. I only hear about that, and I've never seen nothing of those.
You not heard of any stories or
Yeah, I have. Well, like in relation to what?
anything like you've heard that people maybe been scared of, or did anybody, did anyone you know claim to have seen
Oh, I
a
heard
Lagranne?
I heard people say about that, like that they see lights here and how they call it something, but me and myself, I can't say that. I can't say I know anything about
No, no worries.
it.
So Did you experience any hurricanes?
Oh yes, I did,
Tell me about
and I experienced Janet. Janet, up to now, Janet has had a hell of a effect on my life. Janet is the worst. I've seen one in 1944, the first hurricane I can remember like a little kid. And I see one in 1954, very slight in comparison. But Janet, dear, that was one hell of a hurricane. And where I was living with my cousin Josephine in Balance. And when the storm came, all the galvanized started to come off the house and one thing. And galvanized from the back of the hill down, they keep coming up. So I said to cousin Josephine, come on, let's go downstairs. Let's go downstairs because we out in the gallery. We went in from the big part of the house to the gallery house because the gallery is more flat, so the roof not coming out as easy. So she says, "Let us go downstairs." I say, "Let me stay here for a bit. Let us stay here for a bit because the roof is still on." My dear, it's a good job we stay there because after the storm is over, when I go down for the downstairs, a galvanized come out from Shade Madison house, way back on 6 road, wrong that way, come and fall himself inside the pass through the door, there, and fall himself in there. And I thought to myself, that gave me the shake how close we came to this. So as a result of that, I got this little. I got frightened so easily from then up to now that I begin to suffer with a kind of palpitation. Anything frightens me. Anything frightens me. Bang! That frightens me. Until after a certain time, everything started to settle down. You know what I mean? But Janet, when you turn around and you watch the destruction, it has this effect on me. I could tell you that.
So, did you know of anyone that was killed?
Yes, I know because they got these people and them, some 7 days Adventist people that was living somewhere on top of the cemetery or up in the place in town. After when they hear about the storm, they left the storm and went in the church for protection, and the church collapsed on them and and things like that. That is what I've heard, and I've heard other people that get killed, but I've never know them myself. No, I heard of it. Yeah.
Terrible. Wow. Great. So, going back to when you were a child, what were you not allowed to do as a child? Were your parents strict?
Well, it's one thing I should tell you about my mother. My mother is one of the strictest person that grows all of us up, and The one thing she never keep swearing every day. I rather you kill somebody than you steal. Don't touch nothing that does not belong to you. That my mother's everything. Where you get this, where you got that, if you decent that, bring it back. Go and that strictness has surrounded all our family. That don't touch other people's thing. Don't take it. Because I will not defend you. You know? You see, she up to this. She's really up to it. Yeah. You know?
And did you ever take part in Carnival in
Huh?
Carriacou? You know the Carnival.
Yeah.
Did you take part in any of that, or Shakespeare mass, jab, anything?
My friend, I could remember me trying to play old mass. Take me mother coat and me frock, put on me, and tie me head and running about saying willy willa jab jab. And when I'm going down the road, I meet an old mass. You know that real, and if you want to see me, I hold me frock. So you want to see me run? I gotta run, boy. That's it, because that's what you call old mass for me. And that's the first time I think I've ever attempted anything like that. I can't forget it now, you know. Oh my God, I'm genuinely afraid of the man, boy. Wait, he black up himself, yeah, this, that, and he feathers all over his head, and ooh. Old mass, meet old mass.
Yes. What was your age? How old were you?
Oh, let me see. Maybe about 14, 15, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, those age there. What? I never tried again. I never do that again. Like, you know.
But what
Yeah.
about the carnival itself? Did you participate in?
No, to be honest with you, I've never. The carnival. I've always watched on the side. I like to stand up in the cake shop with a bottle of Frio in my hand, like, you know what I mean, and a cake shop, and watch, enjoy things. But to say take part, I've never been I've never been them type of. Yeah.
Oh. So tell me about your food memories in Carriacou. What did you eat growing up?
Oh, I can tell you, green peas and dumpling is my favorite. That is what keep me now standing here. Green peas and dumpling, and if you got the salt beef, you know, the thing with it, and all. Ooh, that was my favorite food.
And
Yeah.
who taught you how to cook?
Huh?
Who taught you how to cook?
My cousins, I didn't take much notice of the cooking. You know what I mean? So I wasn't taught. You know what I see, and you know what I mean. I wasn't taught. But when I was really taught how to cook was when I came into England here, and I had to cook for the guys and them that go into to work. So they give me sixpence, and they tell me go over to shop there and ask them for some lamb breast, and put the lamb breast in the pot and thing like with the peas and thing and one thing to the other. So I go there, but ask him for the some lamb breath, and I see the man open up a big chest, like maybe a freezer or something like that. Pull out this thing. Well, a half a lamb. Boop, boop, boop. Sixpence. I said, what the hell am I going to do with this thing here, the boy? So I went home with it, put the whole thing in the pail, put the whole thing in the pail, and then I put the piece on it. When Mackenzie come, Mackenzie say, oh God, no so, no so, you must do it. And it's from there I've begin to get the art. Oh, you know what I mean? The art of how to cook. And then, everybody it will happen with me. When you don't know, you don't know, like.
So during an actual celebration back in Carriacou when you were younger, what food was always cooked?
Oh, well, the maroon. The maroon in Carriacou is absolutely first class. And it is lately I know the reason behind it. Because while I was young and I heard about maroon and this thing like that, I've been always fascinated because there's a lot of food, but I never understand the reason behind it. You understand? Now, the maroon, somebody told me, started because the slave people or the free slaves always want to give thanks to their ancestors. They wanted to give thanks to their ancestors, and they get together now, cook this food, and call everybody to eat. And the point was to put some in reservation there for the soul of the departed to come and eat. You know what I mean? And I've did now, and I know the reason for it, but I think that was going on since the days of emancipation, or before that. That was the prayer of the survivors, hoping that the ancestors will come back and enjoy themselves. But I think it become a national habit that they do it in Brunswick, in Sixth Road, in all over the place at different times of the year. So at any time of the year you're going to Carriacou, there might be a, a, a maroon taking place somewhere in Carriacou as a thanksgiving for the people, the slave masters and everything like that pass.
So what kind of food? What
Well,
kind of food?
generally, they cook cuckoo, rice, and every other means of food, that is killing goat, sheep, this, all meat cooked on the wood fire. And when I tell you tasty and absolutely sumptuous, you wouldn't be, believe it. Some people call it smoked food, but I say it's the best food I eat. Yeah, very, very, very special. And everything's free. Everything free. Yeah.
So, so what would you want someone visiting Carriacou to experience? So, if you knew someone had not been to Carriacou before,
Yeah.
what would you want someone visiting to experience on the island?
Well, you know, I don't know, like because I think the beauty of Carriacou itself is to go up on Chapecower Hill, Chapeau Carré, a big French word. Yeah, that's where I normally always am thing there. And turn wrong and look at Carriacou, and you can see virtually see Carriacou right wrong as a little island. You know what I mean? And when you look at that, I think you get a lovely view, and so just sitting down in Bromsey or sitting down in them place there, you haven't seen the real beauty.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And in closing now, so why is Carriacou special to you?
Well, because it's the land of my birth. I look on Carriacou as the most important treasure, and the only thing or why I did not able to return to Carriacou to reside is because there was no facilities to say, well, okay, you can have this and you're going to build here for yourself. I've had none of that. Some people are lucky enough to have the inheritance of a piece of land here and a piece of this there. But in my case, I think that is the reason why. But I love that little island very much. Very, very much.
Thank you so much, Olwyn. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your memories. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
been
yeah.
really interesting hearing your life story, what you had to do in
I
Carriacou.
welcome there. Yeah, I welcome. It's welcome. Like you know what I mean. Not a problem. Not a problem. Yeah.